Hello everybody, it's Delane from COLORpockit, and today I wanted to show you our pencil swatching sheet and talk to you a little bit about our COLORpockit pencils. So what I'm going to do is get started, and while I'm coloring I will fill you in. So this is a page that you can get on our website at www.colorpockit.com on our resources page. There's a link and you can download it yourself. I printed it on cardstock because I wanted it to be like our COLORpockit cards, but you can print it on regular paper if you want. So I'm going to start off with pencil number 1. It says white and peach. So when you're swatching, you want one end to be dark, and then you kind of bring it across to be light. Now, of course, swatching the white is not super necessary here because, of course, it's on white paper. But the other end of this pencil is the peach pencil, and I'm just going to start going down here around the edge to give me something to blend into. So for you, those of you who are new to swatching, you might be like, well, why is she doing this? And so as you can see while I'm doing this, the color that's coming off of this pencil isn't, what it looks like. So if I was going to just look at this pencil and say, what color is this pencil? I would think it was pink because of the way it looks. But as you can see, while I'm doing this, it's actually kind of a peachy tan color. And this is a great color for like skin, or I've used it in combination with one of the browns for like donuts or bread, or something like that that you might be coloring. So you can just play around with this, and there you go. So on our swatch sheet, you can see I've got pencil number 1. It has white and peach. There we go. And pencil number 2 is light yellow and golden yellow. And so I'll start working on the light yellow here while I'm talking to you guys. So we got our own custom pencils a while back, and we were very, very excited to get them because we were able to choose the colors ourselves. And so I was the one responsible for that. And so I wanted to make sure, since we only have 24 colors, that we have colors that are really good and that can be versatile and used for a lot of things. And so my thinking was going into that I wanted more of the colors you use more often. So for me, that felt like green and blue. So we have 2 full pencils of green and 2 full pencils of blue. So you can have more shades to work with. So what I'm doing is I'm pushing pretty hard on the left end and getting it all blended in there. And then as I work out toward the right, I'm pushing less and less hard. So when I was working on getting our new pencils, I checked out several different brands and rejected a lot of them because I didn't feel like they were blendable enough, or that the lead was strong enough when you were pushing hard, because I don't know about you, but I push pretty hard when I color. I like that vibrant, saturated color. So I wanted to make sure when I'm pushing that I wasn't going to break the leads. So this is just something that's fun to do, and then you can see before you start coloring a certain area what it might look like. And I'm not being really precise here because I don't want to take a lot of time on each one so that we have time to talk about all of them. So I also got to choose which colors went on what pencil, which ones went together. So my thought is to put the light and dark version of the same color on the same pencil. That keeps it simple, and a lot of times you use them together. So I might outline something, say in this darker orange, but then blend into the lighter orange or a yellow or, you know, another color. All right, and I most of the time color in circles, but I know everybody has their own technique, and people who are more familiar with swatching probably have something that they like to do. So, all right. So when I was choosing red, I wanted to make sure that we had a very like true red, because our original set of COLORpockit pencils, that was a pre-made set that we purchased. That one had a very orange red, and so I wanted to make sure when I picked colors for this that we got a very true red, a very bright red. And you can always make it more orange by blending it in with the dark orange. I like that. I like doing that too. Yeah, I want to see what it looks like when I do it very lightly, and then what it looks like when it's dark. So for our other side of this pencil, we've got the wine red. And I thought that was an important one to have as well. This is a good one to blend with pink, or actually with the bright red. Works great too. Use the wine red as an outline, and then blend the lighter red into it. Now, another thing you guys can do with this swatch sheet, I mean, this is printed out to use as I'm doing here with each pencil. But you can also print out an extra one and use it to do color combinations that you like or that you want to try before you put them down on paper. Move on to our pink. This is the light pink. So yeah, if there's a color combination you want to try and you want to do it before you start coloring on your card, you can use this kind of a swatch sheet for that too. So I really like these pencils because they blend really nice. And that was really important to me. When we started developing this product, I mean, we did it because it was something I wanted. And so as an adult colorist, I thought, well, you know, I want these pencils to be really nice and blendable, or else to me, it's just more of like a little kid's toy or a little kid's art set or something like that. So I wanted to make sure that we could have the nicest pencils that we could at a reasonable price. So I'm working on the dark pink here. And this is a little bit of almost a reddish pink, which I kind of like. I use this one quite frequently. All right. Now we're getting to the greens, and I thought it was very important to have 4 very distinctly different greens. Because, you know, you use them for different purposes like leaves or nature's kind of fun stuff. So this is the lime green. So I wanted a really bright, vibrant green. So as I'm working across toward the right here, I'm still coloring. I just use less and less pressure until it gets very, very light here on the edge. And then the darker green I called leaf green. Actually, I usually use a combination of these two colors when I'm doing leaves. I usually outline the leaf in this darker green and then use the lime green for the center. And you can, you know, layer these each over each other, and that can give you some depth and change the hue a little bit. So I'm doing this really fast, but you can feel free to take your time. All right, so next we move on to the other green pencil. And this one has the seafoam green, which I was really excited to get this color because there's so much you can do with it. I really love combining the seafoam green with the aqua blue, which you'll be seeing here shortly. I think it makes a really neat color combination. So the seafoam green is also very vibrant, but it's just a little bit more of a blue tone than the other greens. And then I'm just moving across toward the right again. All right, and then our last green is the olive green. And so I like the olive green a lot too for like grass or ferns, that kind of stuff. So as you can see, each of the greens is very different from the others so that you can have a lot of fun color combinations. Okay, our next pencil, we move on to blues. So this is our light blue. And as you can see, it's a pretty, even though it's light blue, it's got a good color saturation to it. So you can make it fairly dark if you want to. And this is a good one to blend with any of the other blues that we have. So yeah, it was really fun getting to choose the colors. So you guys probably don't know this, but in my previous life before working with COLORpockit, I was an interior decorator and home stager. So I worked a lot with color in that job too. And a lot of times I worked with clients choosing paint colors. And so I would do this kind of stuff all the time. So it's kind of fun to get to do something for my own project. All right, this one's the navy blue. And so you can push really hard and get it to be a really, really dark saturated blue. And I think these two blues complement each other very nicely as well. I'm coming out here, so I'm really light. Okay. Then we'll move on to our next blue pencil. And there we go. And this end, the lighter end, is our royal blue. Now, you don't have to do this straight across like I'm doing it. You can do it diagonally. You can, you know, go corner to corner. You can kind of do whatever you want. I'm just kind of showing this to you if you've never done anything like this before, so you can kind of see some of the possibilities, and then you can just go on your own and try everything out and see what you want to do. Real light here. All right, and then our last blue is the aqua blue, and this is the one that I was talking about that I like to use with the seafoam green, because I think they're very complementary to each other. And so as you can see, this is kind of a greeny blue. So that's why they work well together. That one's a bluey green and this is a greeny blue. And there are just lots of uses for this one. And there I go. I'm moving across here and getting very light. Okay, next is purple. And we have our lavender purple on one side. And these two work very well together too. It's, like I said, definitely a lighter hue and a darker hue of the same color. And I a lot of times outline things in the darker purple and then use my lavender to fill in. I love this lavender and the lime green together. Those two go really well together and are kind of fun. Okay, and then we've got our dark purple. And this dark purple is definitely dark, which I like. It's very saturated. All right. And I'm moving across, getting lighter and lighter as I go. There we are. And then we're moving to brown. So first we got the light brown. And I really like this shade because it's very warm. I use this a lot when I'm coloring skin as kind of my outline, whether the skin is light or dark. It works well as kind of an outline for both. And then I use the peach color and just layer them back and forth depending on how light or dark I want the skin to look. So we are working really hard to grow our YouTube channel, and so I would love for you guys to like this video and subscribe to our channel. We would really appreciate it. If you know anyone who you think would benefit from this or like to see it, please feel free to share it with them. Here's our dark brown. And this one, whereas I think that the light brown has a little bit of red tone in it, this dark brown I would say has a little bit more green tone to it. So they're definitely different, and they both, you know, are good for different things. So here we are. All right, and there's our browns. Now our very last pencil here is gray and black. So let's start out here with the gray. And when I was looking at grays, I tried to find one that I felt was the most neutral. A lot of times you can get a very blue gray or a green gray. And so I was trying to find one that I felt was pretty neutral. And then you can, of course, give it a blue touch or a green or whatever, depending on what you mix with it. All right, and here's our black. And I just really like this black. It goes down very smoothly. So, you know, sometimes I know people when they're trying to do black on coloring books or coloring cards will use a Sharpie pen or use some kind of a pen. But this black is dark enough that if you push hard, I mean, it's a very dark black and you don't need to use your pen. There we go. So as we're drawing to a close here, I want to remind you, if you want your own swatch sheet, you just need to go to COLORpockit.com and go to our resources page, and there's a link there that you can download and get yours. And please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching and have a great day.